Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fantastic Five. This week we're looking at where the fist meets the face and counting down the best punches in the history of comics. Comics, and especially the superhero genre, have a decades-long tradition of protagonists solving their problems with violence. So there's a huge pool of candidates to choose from here. I could make a list 100 times this length and still not get everyone's favorites. So here are a few others that very nearly took a top spot. Judge Fear gazes into the fist of dread. Invincible shatters Conquest's robot arm. Molly Hayes socks Punisher in the breadbasket. Spider-Man punches himself courtesy of the Spot, and Flash races around the world at light speed to build up infinite mass in order to send the shape-shifting imposter Zurn into orbit. What did the Five Fingers say to the face? They said, here's the top 5. Number 5, Captain America punches Hitler. Let's start with a classic. In 1940, a full year before the United States would enter the war, Joe Simon and Jack Kirby put their surprisingly controversial mission statement right on the cover of the first issue of Captain America. Hitler sucks, and a cool thing would be if a guy dressed like an American flag would sock him one on the jaw. While Simon and Kirby got some hate mail for this, the book also sold over 1 million copies. Even better, it started a long and proud tradition of heroes punching Hitler, including Superman, the original Daredevil, the Escapist, and Raphael from the Ninja Turtles. Number 4, Luke Cage punches Purple Man. This one, from 2005's New Avengers number 3, also packs some emotional punch. The Purple Man is an old Daredevil villain with the ability to control other people's minds and make them obey him. At one point, he used these abilities to kidnap, manipulate, and abuse young superhero Jewel, aka Jessica Jones, for 9 months. Years later, Jessica is an item with Luke Cage, who is now a member of the Avengers, who are responding to a breakout at the Raft, a supervillain prison. Among those escapees, Kilgrave, the Purple Man. Kilgrave tries to use his powers to manipulate Cage into helping him to escape while making some taunts about Cage's wife and daughter. The bad news for Kilgrave is that his powers are still weak from the prison's power dampeners. So, bang zoom, right in the kisser. Number 3, Cal Kent punches through the time barrier. In the Silver Age of comics, Superman would pretty regularly fly at superluminal speeds in order to break the time barrier and travel through time. Cal Kent, his descendant from the 853rd century, however, has a much more violent and much more awesome method. In the pages of DC 1 Million, basically the best comic crossover of all time, Cal Kent and the Justice League of the 853rd century have come to visit the present, while our Justice League goes to see the world of their descendants' distant future. Unfortunately, this turns out to be a trap by Solaris, the tyrant's son. In order to get back to the future, Cal Kent, faster than a speeding tachyon, more powerful than a collapsing star, and able to leap between planets in a single bound, begins slugging time itself. An action that shakes the JLA Watchtower to its foundations, causes time to move erratically, and physically ages Cal with each punch, until he rips open a hole in time so that he can aid the Justice League. This is way cooler than when Superboy-Prime punched the walls of reality a few years later. Number 2, One Punch. I'm going to be honest, I only included this one from 1987's Justice League number 5 because I know that if I didn't, YouTube commenters would storm my Gothic Swiss castle with torches and pitchforks. But the fact is, this well-known sequence, in which Batman humbles a smart-mouthed Guy Gardner, has been memed and re-memed so many times, even to the point of being included on the Batman the Brave and the Bold cartoon, that it's lost all impact. Yeah, it was cool the first time, but is it still cool the 1,000,000th time? Batman hasn't punched a ton of stuff over the last 75 years. Can you say this cliche panel is honestly cooler than the times Batman punched a god, a dog, a schoolgirl, or a horse? Number 1, basically every punch ever drawn by Sal Buscema. Sal Buscema is a workhorse of an artist whose career spans from the late 60s until well into the 2000s, whose most notable work includes tenures on Captain America, The Avengers, Spectacular Spider-Man, and a 10-year run on the Hulk. His figures are full of mass and power, and nowhere is this more noticeable than in the trademark Sal Buscema punch. This punch is nearly always the coup de grace of a Buscema slobber knocker. You can easily recognize it by these features. There is a massive speed lines indicating the point of impact, and the recipient of the punch has been hit so hard that he or she flips over backwards, high into the air, with a pained, open-mouthed grimace on their face. So whether it's Hulk punching Captain Marvel, Spider-Man punching She-Hulk, or Captain America punching himself, you can always count on Sal Buscema to bring the punching power. Boom! That's all for this week's installment. Join us again next week for 5 more awesome things. Thanks for watching this episode of Fantastic Fives. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Comics Alliance for more comic facts, and check out comicsalliance.com for more comic awesomeness.